call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome into the show. I hope it is raining a lot less wherever you are than where I am here in Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas. It has been absolutely crazy, man, with the weather out there. I'm just trying to get outside. I thought it was, what was it, April showers bring May flowers? Is that, I mean, they're taking that to the extreme right now. It's nuts with how much rain we've got. But oh well, I guess it's going to kind of be that way throughout the weekend, and then we'll eventually get back to the good stuff here. But I don't know, folks. I mean, some news is better than no news at this point, right? We got a little bit of it on Friday when freshman guard Boogie Flan declared for the NBA draft. Okay, cool. Right? I mean, like we talked about it yesterday that it was trending in that direction, and I think the staff has been expecting it and attacking the offseason, expecting it, but it does give, you know, at least a small bit more clarity about how this thing is going to look next season. Okay, that domino has fallen. Big Z's in the portal. Still several decisions left to be made, and they'll happen eventually. I know it feels like it may never happen, but it will. I promise. Now, I'm recording very late Friday night. The reason I'm recording as late as I am is because I've been anticipating throughout most of the afternoon and evening Friday another announcement from a current Razorback, as well as the potential addition of a new one. Naturally, you know, neither one of those things happened, you know, at the timely fashion that I hope for. So the wait goes into the weekend. That's okay. We're not going to bury the lead. So let's talk about the potential here for Arkansas and John Calipari to get on the board officially here in portal season. But before we do, as always, got to remind you guys real quick, a shout out to our new partners at the Pod at the Palace, the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. You guys know the drill at this point. The Eye Center, they can fix your problems when it comes to your vision, which is essential to the quality of your life. You know, the professional eye care is a must for you and your family. The Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas, they've got the award-winning eye doctors, the board-certified, professionally active physicians there. But their patients, when you talk to them, they're talking about how caring, how friendly, how warm, how welcome they are there. I can personally vouch for that. Like I've said on the show before, Dr. Rich, that's my guy. I want to hang out with him outside of the office, not when he's looking into my eyes, looking deep into my eyes. You know what I'm saying? But listen, they're good people over there. Every patient that walks in that door, they receive the best of new vision care technology plus old-fashioned personal attention. They got a really good blend over there. They offer that custom cataract surgery and custom refractive lens exchange surgery inside their clinic location right there in Fayetteville. The Eye Center offers free screenings for those of you who would be interested in having that reflective lens exchange. That's for people 40 years or older who are starting to struggle with that near vision. You're tired of the glasses, you're tired of the contacts, but you're not a candidate for LASIK. This is an option for you. So if you know anybody who might be interested, or if you're interested, give them a call. Eye Center NWA 479-442-2020. Schedule a cataract evaluation with one of their surgeons, or check out their website, www.eyecenternwa.com for more info. All right, let's get into it here. A lot going on, right? A lot going on. The portal moves quick, yada, yada, yada. We talk about all those things. If you listen to yesterday's episode of the show, and a lot of you did, the numbers on that were crazy. Thank you, by the way. Really appreciate that. It's awesome. It's humbling how many people are tuning into this stuff. I know they're excited about, you know, you guys love the transfer portal and who's leaving, who's going, what's this roster going to look like. But the fact that you guys appreciate listening to me talk about it makes me feel real good. So thank you for that. We're going to try to continue to keep it fresh and keep you as informed as we possibly can. But if you listened yesterday, we talked a decent amount about the big man situation amongst a lot of other things. But for starters, we talked about the fact that, you know, Arkansas doesn't have one, right? It's just Kenny Payne working on his jump hooks at the practice facility. And he's got, you know, Big Z's old jersey just kind of laid out over a chair on the background, wondering if he's ever going to have another big man to work with again. I mean, it's getting crazy, right? They did not overextend for Morez Johnson out of Illinois. We know that. It would have been fun. Apparently didn't get too far in that process either with the likes of, you know, Flory Badunga or Yaxel Lindenberg either. You know, those guys are still technically available, but you get the gist here. Those are probably the three best or highest ranked, if you care about that kind of thing, bigs in the portal. So our thought was that Arkansas is either A, waiting on a certain someone to enter who hasn't yet, which is still possible because they're going to need more than one guy in there, or that they see something that they really, really like in the evaluation of one of the other top available bigs out there. And if you think back to the three main guys that we mentioned, it was Malik Ewan out of Florida State. It was Henry Vassar from Arizona, and then Ade Mara out of UCLA. Those are kind of the next guys up, or the other three that we just really looked at and thought, you know what, like all three of these dudes could go to an SEC school, start, and be impact players there. Well, and then Friday, Vassar popped to North Carolina. He was on a visit there. Mara I think he's just chilling in Spain somewhere right now. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him. But the smoke has led to fire here real quick with Arkansas and Malik Ewan. I like it. And to go to the point about that evaluation, like, hey, maybe they see something. Maybe there's something there that they really like. Staff looks at different things. They get in-depth with their analysis, their breakdowns, the analytics, all that stuff. Did some asking around. And my understanding is that Arkansas's coaching staff is very much sold on Malik Ewan as a legitimate offensive big man in the SEC that they can get it into and let him go to work and find success there. They like it. They're enamored with it. They want him, and they're in a great position to get him. And have heard NIL numbers thrown around that are maybe not as high as I thought they would be, but reasonable. I think a fair fit there. The consensus belief around the recruiting circles is that he's going to wind up a Razorback. Well, woo pig, baby. I mean, I love it. I do. And I'll save a lot of the deep dive into his games and the specifics for the live reaction, which will happen if and when this gets across the finish line publicly, because it is never done until it's done, right? We have learned that the hard way with our dear friend Ron Holland. It ain't over till it's over, but boy, you sure feel great about the potential here. Hint, hint, wink, wink, right? But a quick overview, I think, just on the fit, the game, what the next moves would be in this case, and we can kind of spin that, and just for our HD roofing and construction heavy hitter of the day, we'll roll with our man Malik Ewan here, right? And you guys know the drill at this point with our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. We've talked about the storms a lot, the heavy rains. It was helling on my roof earlier today. I might need to give them a call, right? Because when those storms hit you, unexpected or expected, you need some answers. You get concerned. Do you need some help? Do you need some work done? What's this going to cost? Is it going to be covered? Be sure to contact HD Roofing. They'll give you that peace of mind that you're looking for with the free inspection. So when you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on their professionalism, the top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. Learn more at hdarkansas.com today. All right, Malik Ewan. Now, I love this dude's game, okay? Not a shooting threat. This is not a stretch big man. He's not Big Z. He's not going to go out there and make a ton of threes for you. But the offensive bag is deep here. He runs the floor kind of like Daniel Gafford. His post package, it reminds me a lot of Jalen Graham. I've made that comparison. He'll put you in that spin cycle, man. Very comfy for a guy his size that plays his position, facing up, putting it on the deck and driving by guys. He can put it on the floor. He's comfortable with it. Pick and roll artist, right? Really good, really well versed in the pick and roll. He can roll it for a lob and a dunk. He can short roll it, kind of like Jonas was doing in the NCAA tournament, and operate in a little bit of space. He's a great rebounder. He's a plus passer at his position. On the offensive end of the floor, he's got it figured out. He really does. Defensively, not a big shot blocker. He's not the help side hero. Like when a guard drives, gets by his man, he sneaks over and cleans it off the glass, right? That's not his game. But can he hold up one-on-one in the post? Can he guard somebody on the block? Yes, he can. And he's 6'11", nearly 240 pounds, so he's got a good frame on him as well. I will say, I think that I absolutely love the fit with him and Trevin on the floor together, because I feel like Trevin's shooting ability to stretch the floor from that standpoint, combined with, Malik's ability to stretch the floor in a different way, because he puts pressure on opposing defenses with his ability to operate in dribble handoffs, to drive it as a good passer out there from the perimeter. That's a good complement for each other. Malik's a really good rebounder in there, takes up a little bit more space. Trevin is more above the rim and athletic, and he can protect the rim and swat those shots out of there. I think it's a really good compliment, a nice 1-2 punch at the 4-5, if you will, between those two. I love that idea a lot. Now, him and a dude Thero, on the other hand, would be a little bit more interesting with spacing, obviously, because you don't have the knockdown shooter there. But we just talked about putting pressure on the defense with a unique skill set. Both of them can be matchup problems at their position. That helps. Ewan, as we mentioned, such a good passer out there. Remember how Jalen Williams could pass it? And he wasn't a knockdown three-point shooter. He had that as part of his game and had to be respected. But his passing ability helped with the spacing on the floor when he had a 4 around him that wasn't necessarily a shooter. Kind of the same thing here. Really good in that dribble handoff game. That matters. That helps. It's important. I think you could put either one of those guys in that middle section of the zone as that zone buster. Either one of them could operate well, and you could put either one of them in the dunker spot down there too. So I like the fit with him and Trevin better, but I don't hate it with him and Thero. I know it's easy, especially after what things get clunky sometimes with Arkansas offensively, to look at it and go, oh God, they're neither the 4 or 5 can make threes. This ain't going to work. There's more to floor spacing than just being able to knock down threes. So I'm really intrigued by the potential here. Now, obviously, just getting Malik Ewan, that's not going to, like, your work's not done. You're not finished there in the front court. You got to get more bodies. First, they do need to get settled at the 4. We just talked about it. But between Thero and Brazil, if I'm being honest with you, and this is not a hot take here, I'd prefer both. Why not both, right? Get both those guys back in here. We talked about how they complement Ewan. They also complement each other very well at that position. And Thero can slide up and play the 3 and be just fine. You can play all 3 of them together. And with Trevin's ability to space the floor, especially if you had, let's say, a sniper like Lamar Wilkerson in there at the 2 and then Acuff at the 1, that's a hell of a lineup to try to guard, man. So there are some possibilities there. Between Thero and Brazil, I'd prefer to have both. Yep. I would probably anticipate getting one. Being honest, I'd be really pissed off if they didn't have either, right? Because then you got to go out and get a starting 4 as well, and you got more work to do, more money to spend, everything like that. I liked their situation at the 4, so if you can keep those guys, I think that would be great, right? But what I will say is you either have to have Brazil back or you have to add a 4 who can stretch the floor from 3, whether Thero's back or not. I think you've got to have that stretch 4 capability on your roster. Very, very important in my opinion. So there's that. At the 5, the way I see it here, it's pretty cut and dry. What have we talked about for the last 13 minutes with Malik Ewan? The offensive bag is there, right? He is your go-to scoring option in the paint. Check, right? Complete. You mark that off the list. But you still need to go get the defensive presence to complement him. And I don't want to come across as saying like he's a horrible defender, like he's a cone out there or whatever. He's not. He's just not a big rim protector. And I think that's something that you really need. It's something that Arkansas has really been great about, dating back to the Muss days. And then this past year, they cleaned it up, man. They blocked a bunch of shots in there. And that's kind of part of the DNA of a John Calipari team. Long, athletic, above the rim, blocking shots. You're going to get some of that. So how do you go about getting that? Right? Like, what would that look like? One of two things, I guess. You could go super long and athletic, or you could go wide body, mean, physical, right? I would hear an argument for either. I would prefer to get that enforcer type, personally. Just the big, mean dude that we've been waiting for all year. People have been yelling about it since Adama Sanogo worked him over in the NCAA tournament. That kind of guy. Oscar Sheway's throwing everybody around in there. That kind of guy. That's my preference, right? But you could go the other way too. There's a couple options. For example, I've heard a lot of chatter about Damian Collins out of LSU. You guys remember him probably for different reasons, but he had some good performances against Arkansas this past year. He entered the portal Friday from LSU, but we know that he's a former Cal guy at Kentucky, and he didn't leave because he hated him. Didn't play a ton for him. Like, he was a highly ranked 5-star, hadn't quite panned out for him. But he left to get closer to home, had some family stuff going on, and he winds up at LSU. Cal spoke really highly of him this season after the game. So a good season with the Tigers for him. He had career highs in points and rebounds, blocks a lot of shots. So there's that rim protection. Crazy athletic there. He's 6'9", 220. Excuse me. He's 6'9", 200. Okay. And we're talking about that as a backup center. I got people yelling at me every day for Nate Ament being, essentially the same exact size and being a wing. But y'all want that at center? and you think you're not going to be complaining about it? So, listen, I wouldn't be mad if they picked up Damian Collins. I think there's some intrigue there, some skill sets that translate. But what do you really want here? Like, we're in that build the perfect roster stage here. So we talked a lot about Nick Pringle, for example. Now, I like Nick Pringle a lot. I do. And he's 6'10", 220. He is 220. So a little bit bigger and heavier. We know that he plays with that mean streak, physicality. He's tough on defense. He rebounds it well, but he is not a shot blocker at all. Average less than a half block shot per game this season. So I might like him more than Collins for the role that you're looking for. But the rim protection is really important here, in my opinion, when Ewan doesn't necessarily provide that. Big Z wasn't a good defender, but he blocked a bunch of shots because he was 7'2". That matters. Being able to change, deflect, alter shots, it's important. It takes pressure off of your guards. So listen, I mean, look, I'm going to throw it out there again, and the folks over on the Dixon Discord, I know, will give me some crap about it, and that's okay. But I've mentioned this name before recently. Quincy Ballard out of Wichita State, in my opinion, is the answer here. A great fit for what you need, assuming you do wind up with Malik Ewan here. And if you don't, then we've wasted this episode. But I think it would be a great fit. Now, he's played 5 years. He's got to get a hardship. He's got to get a year back. He played 10 games and then had it shut down in 2023. That's going to be the year that he works to get back. I think the assumption is he probably will. So there's that part of it. But he's in the portal. He's taking visits to places. Tell me what sounds wrong about this. If you're looking for a defensive role-playing backup big, 6'11", 240 pounds. He's a monster out there. Is he the most skilled in the world? No, he's not. But what he is at this point is inside the top 100 nationally at KenPom, which is the top 10 percentile in the country in block percentage, defensive rebound percentage. Oh, by the way, he was number 1 in the country, not just his position, period, in effective field goal and true shooting percentage. Oh, and by the way, he was also top 100 in turnover rate. So you've got your offensive-minded big man, you've got your starter, and then what do you want out of this? You want somebody who's not going to do anything stupid, not screw anything up, and give you the opposite of what you already have, which is rim protection and rebounding. And in Quincy Ballard, you have a guy who does not take any stupid shots. He does not turn the basketball over, and he's an elite rebounder and shot blocker. Sounds good to me. I mean, it sounds good to me, folks. So I don't know if Arkansas has looked at him, thought about him, know who he is, reached out to him, will pursue him. But I'm encouraging that maybe they try to do that or find somebody who's just like him, because as far as I'm concerned, that sounds like the ideal fit to go with Malik Ewan there. So let's do this real quick. We'll take a page out of the Inside Arkansas Live book. Let's do a little question of the day here, presented by Alumni Hall. You know and love them, the ultimate Razorback shopping destination for all your Arkansas gear and apparel. 3417 North College Avenue in Fayetteville. Shop online. Use that promo code HOGSBY20. Get 20% off your first purchase when you go in there. They got a little bit of everything. I saw that they were putting out the photos on their socials with those camo for the military weekend, the hats, baseball hats. Those things are sick, man. I got to get me one of those. They had the DJ Wagner NIL jerseys. I'm holding out hope that Arkansas gets Lamar Wilkerson and we can get that Wilkerson NIL jersey and I can get it and it wouldn't be weird, because it'd be technically my name on the back and not some, 21-year-old man's, right? But the question of the day, if the Razorbacks do, in fact, land Malik Ewan, who is the ideal big man you think that they should pair him with? I want to know what you think. I do. Some of you might say, well, Jaden Quaintance, what are you talking about? Which Would be interesting as he recovers from that ACL tear. Interesting and risky, as we know, from that standpoint of it. How much are you willing to pay him if you're bringing in a guy like Ewan? How interested would he be, even if he's coming off of an injury, if he had to compete with a guy like Ewan? Those things I don't have the answer to. I do know that JQ has Dennis Gates in Missouri and Ohio State all over him early on, by the way. And there's going to be a lot of others there. We'll see how hard Arkansas ultimately pursues. That would be a grand slam, though, right? I mean, is that too wishful thinking? I know they got plenty of money with the chicken man there. That'd be nuts. You had Ewan and JQ. That's ridiculous. What if the old flame? We've been waiting. Samto Surreal. What if he finally says forget it and portals out of Mike White's basement in Georgia? That would actually be the perfect type of fit, in my opinion. If we're talking about Quincy Bowden there, Samto is a guy who's younger, more athletic, probably more upside and potential for growth in his game. Equally talented shot blocker and rim protector, tough, mean as hell, athletic. That would be fun. That'd be a great fit. He's just not available yet. And he might not be at all at this point. I mean, we're basically 2 weeks into this thing now, so we'll see. But to tell you the truth, folks, Arkansas, they have to get 2 bigs for sure, no question. They have to. I think they should get a third. And I don't think that's being greedy either. I think it's just being smart. Like, go get some depth, man. Big Z was always, he was either sick or rolled his ankle or hurt his thumb or whatever. Adu is unfortunate, but he was hurt all year with that foot until the very end. Trevin Brazil was your emergency big man, your third big man. So if he's back, I guess you could do that again if you wanted to. But how comfortable do you feel doing that if you don't have a Adu Thero also at the 4? Like if you don't have him, I'm sure you would go get somebody to pair with Brazil, but would he be as good? So then would you feel like you had the minutes to spare at the 5 by shifting Trevin down? Those are things to consider. So I don't know. You're telling me that Arkansas can't bring in a reserve forward here? Really? Stretch it out a little bit, give yourself a little bit of breathing room. It could be a project freshman even. I mean, if you brought in Cash Chavis as a top 150 guy, you didn't get anything out of him, but I don't know that you expected to, but he was there. Hell, he might have played some if he wasn't hurt half the year. I know they're talking to the guy, the former Xavier, I think it was Xavier commit, the wing, really good shooter in the 2025 class. They're talking to him. He's ranked nearly as high as Isaiah Sealy is. There are some guys who fit the mold. In fact, I went and looked. There are 4 centers inside the 24/7 Sports top 150 for the 2025 class here who are uncommitted right now. Why not? Give them a look. Check it out. You're telling me that there isn't a low to mid-major, productive transfer big man who wouldn't be down to transfer to the SEC and play for John Calipari and be a part of a team with Final Four aspirations? I bet there is. And I bet it wouldn't break the bank either. Like you're telling me that there isn't some project player overseas, not named Kareem Rattel, who could be, a practice body and a role player ready to break glass in case of emergency, but just to have the extra body in practice, just to have the option. If I mean, you're a rolled ankle and a flu away from playing Billy Richmond at the 5, maybe. So I think they should get a third. Bare minimum, you get your starter, you get him a backup, and then maybe you can slide somebody down and play some small ball. You got the money, you got the room on the roster. Get another big man in there. I mean, shout out to those GAs who had to go full practice every day against Jonas and Z because they didn't have any other bodies. I hope they were compensated well beyond just their classes and their master's degree or whatever, man. That's crazy. But at any rate, big man heavy today, folks. I know, but that's kind of the flavor of the day with the smoke around Malik here. But we'll turn our attention tomorrow to guards and the backcourt and shooters tentatively, kind of depending on what news breaks throughout the day on Saturday. Again, I'm anticipating. We certainly hope a portal pop, a splash here soon. But I was prepared for one of these guys for sure potential returners to make an announcement, to make a decision. We didn't get that today, so I'm going to kind of be on alert all day on Saturday, and we'll just kind of we'll see where the vibes take us in terms of what the show is going to be looking like. But if something does happen, we're going to go live. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Inside Arkansas, make sure you go ahead and do that, right? Turn those notifications on. That way, when we do go live, when there is breaking news, you can hop in there because it's live reaction. We get in there, instant analysis and breakdowns, but then it's a lot of getting your feedback. Let's get into the chat. Let's see what you have to say. Let's see how you have to feel about it. It's fun. It's interactive. We enjoy it. Make sure you tap in with us. And whether it's tomorrow or the next day or later today or next week, whenever, there's going to be plenty of it coming up, and we're looking forward to bringing it all to you. But I'm going to get out of here for the night. Hope everybody has a good day. Stay safe. Stay dry out there. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we get a little bit of Arkansas baseball, and hopefully we get some portal news for the Razorbacks. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. We'll catch you guys next time.